Greetings, redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. Of course, I am your gracious host, the one and only Jay Red. Thank you for joining me, tuning in. Before I begin this video, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/Red's View is going across your screen right now. Shout out to all of my new latest subscribers. We're going to have a blast. Make sure that you tune in to Red's View each and every week. All right, now before I get into this video, let me send my deepest condolences to Dwayne Wiggins of Tony, the legendary Tony, the legendary Tony, man. They have hits for days. I play them every other time that I DJ. Classic group came out of Oakland, California. So shout out to Oaktown, man, and shout out and rest in peace to Dwayne Wiggins, man. That really hit me because I'm a huge fan of Tony. Didn't get a chance to see Dwayne. He actually passed away from bladder cancer. So he had complications from it, and he actually passed away. So deepest condolences to him. Wish I could have seen them tour. They toured the year before last, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to see him. But shout out to Raphael Sadiq because that's his brother. So, man, just got to send my deepest condolences to the legendary Dwayne Wiggins of Tony. All right, man. So let me go ahead and get into this, man. Now that I paid my respects, let's talk about this, okay? Let's talk about one of the trending topics that's going on right now. Let's talk about your girl Doechii. Yeah. Doechii, I'm sorry. Is she an industry plant? Is Doechii an industry plant? That's the topic that I'm talking about right now. And the reason I'm asking that, I just genuinely want to know. See, the thing is with Doechii, right? I know from my understanding, she's a dope rapper. I saw some clips of her, she's one of the standout female MCs that's out right now. But the stuff that's been happening recent with her gives me, in particular, industry plant vibes, if you follow me. And y'all let me know in the comments if you think that I'm tripping or not. But the reason that I'm bringing this up is because for a couple of things, two things stuck out to me that transpired last week and this past few days, actually. Okay. So, Doechii, I'm not sure of her background. I think she's from Florida, but some strange things have been going on, right? First off, it feels like she came out of nowhere. Okay. I don't follow her. So if she has a mixtape that I don't know about and she was grinding hard underground, whatever, I'm not knocking that, right? But it's just this come up of hers seems like it's being force fed. Okay. And one thing that raised my antennas, was what she said on this podcast. I'm not sure which show this is, but I'm quite sure you've probably seen this already. But she appeared on some type of podcast to where she was asked about red flags when it comes to dating. Okay. Now, we all have our red flags, and I'm not knocking anybody who has a red flag, but this one just stuck out to me right here. Okay. This is fair use, by the way. So shout out to, was it First Feast? Is that what this podcast is called? But she asked, this young lady asked Doechii, and is this Doechii's sister? Y'all let me know in the comments. I think it may be somebody related to her, something like that. But she asked her, or her DJ, I don't know, somebody like that. But she asked her, what was a red flag when it comes to dating? And this is fair use, by the way, of just reporting the news. I want you to hear what Doechii's answer was.
This is a huge red flag for me. All right. It's so crazy. I was going to say men.
So, ha. She put straight men. Let's go back. Let's look at that.
All right.
Boom. A straight man. That's a red flag. Okay.
It's so crazy. I was going to say men. Strike one. You're a man. Yeah. And you're
strike one. She said you're a man. Okay.
Heterosexual. Yeah. I was going to say, so technically. Yeah. And you're heterosexual. Yeah. I was going to say, so technically, because my mind was already there.
Okay. All right. So you're a man. You're a straight man. She doubled down on it, said heterosexual man. So I have, some gripes and complaints with that. Okay. Now, some people were trying to defend it. Some people, like Lauren LaRose on the Breakfast Club, was trying to say that she was trying to act like it was a joke or something like that. I don't know this woman's sexual preference, and I'm not here to crap on anybody's sexual preference. From my understanding, I've been hearing that she's bisexual. Have no problem with that. Okay. Listen to this. If you ask me what's a red flag to me, and I say a lesbian woman, wouldn't you be like looking at me like, okay, why would that be a red flag? Oh, because I am a heterosexual male, so I would want to date a heterosexual female. That's my preference, right? But if I say no, I don't want to date a stud, that's a red flag to me, or a lesbian, that's a red flag to me. People would question that because it's like, why would that even be a red flag? Because that is not somebody that I would date anyway. That's my whole thing. If you're bisexual and a straight man isn't that, for one, who you would date anyway, why would you bring that up? Okay. So what does that imply? Does that imply that you want a bisexual man? I don't know. But to me, it felt very, very agenda heavy. Because when you say a heterosexual man, right? We already have enough trouble as it is with people saying the black man is, everybody's gay and all this other stuff, right? People have the right to have their sexual preference for what they want. But to double down and say a red flag means that that's a problem, that that's an issue. Okay. You're saying that me as a heterosexual man, I'm a red flag. My sexuality is a red flag. What if I said that about homosexuality? If I said that that was a quote unquote red flag, then I would be in trouble with the LGBTQ. Okay. That's not somebody that I would date anyway. Why would that be my preference? If that's not my preference, that's not somebody I'm looking at. Now, if they ask me what's a red flag, and I say a woman that doesn't cook or something like that. If a woman doesn't have a great relationship with her mother, that's a red flag. If a mother didn't grow up with a father, that's a red flag. I'm sorry. If a woman didn't grow up with a father, that's a red flag. If a woman doesn't pay her bills on time, that's a red flag. Whatever. I'm not saying these are my preferences, but I'm just saying those are things that are a red flag because that's in my proximity of who I would date. I wouldn't go out my way to say a woman who's a lesbian because wouldn't be into a woman I want a woman that's me, that's into me. Okay. I'm for a heterosexual woman. That's my preference. So I wouldn't feel the need to bash somebody else's sexuality because that's what she did with us. That's what she did. She just, that's a red flag. Okay. So help me out. So what is a bisexual man not a red flag? Like that seemed weird to me and agenda heavy because there is, and I don't care what anybody says, there is an attack on black men and it is feminization that goes on. We know this. They put it in the media, they put it in TV shows, they put it everywhere. It's propaganda. So it is what it is. If you disagree with me on that, hey, we can have a debate, but it's clear as day that that's it, right? But never would I expect someone who doesn't date heterosexual men to say that they're a red flag because that implies something's wrong with us. That implies something's wrong with that person when you bring up their sexuality. Okay. If I say that a woman's sexuality for wanting another woman is a red flag to me, that would imply that I had an issue with that particular person. You know what I'm saying? That means that your sexuality is a bad thing. Wouldn't that be crazy if I said that homosexuality is a red flag? That's your preference. That's what you want. That's not something that I would pursue, but that was very agenda heavy. They're laughing at it and stuff like that. So that made me be like, okay, all right. So, you know, she comes out of nowhere. She had a year. She was grinding. She's rapping. She's talented, right? But when you have to put your tinfoil kufi hat on, and you have to look when people say certain things like this, because the only people that really say things like this are people who push an agenda, right? They get to talking all crazy, like, like, do y'all remember when Malik Yoba and all them people were on Breakfast Club and they were all over the place talking about people just because if you have a penis, that doesn't mean that you can't be classified as a woman or whatever the case may be. And it was just a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. My thing is this, man. Everybody, you can choose to love who you love, be with who you want to be. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to bash somebody else, their other sexual preference, because my preference can be attacked all day long. But if I start attacking the other preference, then it's a problem. So that was strike number one that made me be like, okay, this sounds like some plant stuff. Okay. Strike number two, I looked up as soon as she said that, like a day later, I want to say, I look on Twitter and I see this. I see Doechii named Billboard Woman of the Year for 2025. Billboard Woman of the Year for 2025. Okay. It says the red hot rapper won both a Grammy and an NAACP Image Award last month. She's set to receive the 2025 Woman of the Year award at the annual Billboard Women in Music event. Doechii won the Rising Star at the 2023 Billboard Women in Music event. So she's done some stuff. Doechii is the second rap artist to win the award following Cardi B and all this other stuff, right? So, it just made me question. I'm just like, okay, she's the woman of the year now. Like, it's 2025. I guess they do this stuff early, right? But I just find it like it looks like she's being propped up. And I've been seeing some people talk about that on social media because let's keep it a buck. I think Doechii, when her album came out last year, she only did like 11,000 equivalent album units. Is that right? So she doesn't have any hit records out that I know of. She doesn't have any platinum selling albums. Okay. How is she propped up like this? Okay, above a Glorilla. You know what I'm saying? Now, I listen. She's talented, and I'm not trying to take that away from her because I feel like women can talk about something other than their sex life. 100%. I'm just speaking on the events that have transpired. It's like when you start pushing an agenda, like Lil Nas X and stuff. All of a sudden, you get these magazine covers, and you're getting Woman of the Year, and they award you, and you're getting propped up. It's like, how is somebody like Doechii getting propped up over a Rhapsody? How come Rhapsody has never had Woman of the Year? Rhapsody just won a Grammy. She just won a Grammy. And Rhapsody is the alternative to what goes on in music right now, as far as the Sexy Reds, the Cardi B's, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Glorillaz. Rhapsody don't just talk about sex. She talks about a wide range of things. How come she hasn't been propped up like a Doechii? Okay. Like they prop up Doja Cat and all them other ones, but Doechii, she seems to be okay on paper. But then when she says some slick stuff like heterosexual men are a red flag, that seems to it raises your antennas. And I know some people are defending it. Well, how come black men always feel like this? Or men in general, she just saying she don't want to date y'all. Da, 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 da. Nobody's tripping on that. But like I said, if I would have said lesbian women, red flag, they would have been on my head. It would have been a big issue. What's wrong? Me saying that homosexuality is a red flag. They would do that. So we got to call a spade a spade. But right after she does this, and she, and she won the Grammys and stuff, people were confused about that, because they equate success to match the Grammys, which isn't always the case because Future outsold Killer Mike, but Killer Mike still won an award, the Grammys and stuff like that. And I'm not knocking talent. If Doechii is very talented, if she's talented, it is what it is. Give her flowers. That's what's up. But these slick comments are, and you put that and attach it to the Billboard Woman of the Year, it looks like somebody's being propped up. It looks like somebody's being propped up, and I don't know how to feel about that. So what I'm saying to you, Doechii, if you're watching, we have our eyes on you. We have our eyes on you, Doechii. We're watching you. All right. The black community in particular, because it's always an attack on black men. There's always an attack on black women, black people. Okay. Feminization on men. Historical. We've seen that. Buck breaking. We know all that stuff. So we're watching you. We got our eyes on you and see what will transpire, because that slick comment that you made right there, that had a lot of people looking at you sideways. There are a lot of people that are like pulling back from you because that's what our ops say. That's what an op would say. Attacking, because we claim that there are not a lot of black men out here who are being role models, who are being influential, who are being fathers. Okay. So the last thing you will want to do is devalue us and talk about our sexuality, heterosexual sexuality, because I'm not about to do that to homosexuality. I'm not about to do that to any trans. I'm not about to do that to any bisexuals, lesbians. Live your life, bro. Woman, lady, whatever. It don't matter. Do what you do, but just don't attack me. And that was an attack. I don't care how anybody looks at it. So we're watching you. We got our eyes on you. This whole thing, you know, I'm not trying to crap on your record sales and stuff like that, but for you to not sell a lot of records, you're winning all the, you know, these awards and you're Woman of the Year and all this other stuff. I'm not trying to take away from your work ethic, but when you say stuff like what you just said, that raises a red flag and it raises antennas. So we're watching you, Doechii. Oh yeah, we're watching you. But anyway, let me move on.